Good morning, everybody. So I've just come back in from a nice run. It's about 8:49 now. I've been up since 5. I like to get up early and start my day before the sun's even up. And, you know, it's just a great way. I just feel like I have such an advantage when I get up early rather than later. So, you know, how do I start my morning? Well, first of all, I start by giving thanks to God. And, you know, I know a lot of you out there are atheists, and that's cool. I have total respect towards atheists. I was married to one for 13 years, and I get where you're coming from. I used to be an atheist when I was a child up into right into my high school years. So I understand where you're coming from. And I have a lot of respect, because I think a lot of atheists really think hard about a lot of issues, and this is why they've come to the conclusion of atheism, because they look at religion as being somewhat logically absurd, and it is to a great extent. And you know, for me, the word God it is just a word. It doesn't in and of itself really mean a lot. I mean, it's an English word. In another language, God would be pronounced differently, and so you know. But it's what God represents to me. That is what is important here. And what God represents to me is infinite being. And I don't mean infinite being in this abstract, impersonal kind of way, but I mean in a personal kind of way. I don't view God as some old guy in the sky wearing a white robe with a white beard, and has a lot of light shining from him, so you can't look at him directly. God is everywhere. Infinite being is everywhere. And infinite being permeates all of existence. And I have a lot of respect for science as well. I love physics and the discoveries that are coming up in the area of quantum mechanics, in the area of astronomy. I find it all very fascinating. You know, the concept of multiverses rather than just a universe. This stuff is groundbreaking stuff, and there's definitely room for infinite being in the world of science. Science doesn't need a God to perform. In fact, it does better without having to, you know, serve a God, I guess you could say. Like it follows its own rules, it follows its own logic, and that's what science should do. But the discoveries in science does not exclude infinite being. I understand that in mathematics and in physics, infinities are a problem because in these disciplines, they're more or less closed systems, and so when things get opened up and there doesn't seem to be any end to it, that becomes problematic. But infinite being is not inconsistent with the discoveries in science. I mean, as far as I'm concerned anyway. So it's a personal choice, and as absurd as it may seem, I've chosen to believe in infinite being. I've chosen to believe in God, and on a personal level, somebody that I can talk to and give thanks to in appreciation for life and all the wonderful things about life. And then after that, I check out where the markets are going to be going for the day. I look at the futures markets, I look at commodities, I look at the bond market, more specifically the US Treasuries, the 10-year, what the 10-year yield is for the day. Is it up? Is it down? Because all of this is telling me where the money's going. You know, if the yield drops on the 10-year Treasury, then that is indicating to me that money's looking for a safe haven. So that's where it's going in the bond market. Or you know, if commodities are going up, then money for whatever reason is going into the commodities market, like oil, silver, and gold. But you know, it looks like this morning that, wow, whoa, this just is, looks like we're gonna have a good day in the market today. Yeah, in the futures market here, the Dow Jones futures is up 122 points. That looks good. Last week, because I do short-term trading, and that's not, I mean, I have a long-term investment plan. I have an investment advisor. She takes care of all that stuff. It's pretty boring, but I also do a lot of short-term trading and try to generate income that way. And so, yeah, I mean, last week was pretty shitty for me. It was a difficult time in the markets, and I was trying to capture a profit in all the volatility that was going on. And I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't, you know. A lot of economic news was coming out, and different issues were rearing their ugly head. That was causing the market to react negatively, and this is just, that's just a part of the game, right? So I'm hoping that this week, and today, for example, that I will capture a profit. Some a couple of my short-term positions are I'm in Facebook, I'm in Gilead Sciences, and I'm in a Canadian oil company, which I don't know the name of right now, but this is an interesting play that I've done because oil has just been hammered the last while, or I guess in the last year now, I guess it's just been getting killed. And I just think it's maybe a good time to start picking up some really good deals out there, because these oil companies have really gone down a lot of price. So we'll see how that works out. I think I might have been a little bit premature on that one. I don't expect it to be a short-term gain, but you never know. I mean, I did this with the bank stocks back in 2011. I started buying into Canadian bank stocks because, well, they were out of favor. Nobody wanted to touch bank stocks. They were still suffering from a bad taste in their mouth after the 2008 crash, and which, you know, the banks were, to a great extent, not so much the Canadian banks, but the American banks were partly, not just partly, but in a big way responsible for it. And so the banks being out of favor, nobody wanted to buy them. At that point in 2011, they were more or less just flat. You know, they weren't going anywhere. But they paid a dividend, a really good, like it was like some of these banks that I was buying was, you know, yielding 4.5% annually, and, you know, try to get that out of a GIC, right? So I just thought, okay, that's where I want to be. I want to be, you know, investing. At that time, I was building my long-term portfolio, and dividends were important. Well, since then, the Canadian stocks have just done phenomenally well. Like, I have just capital growth, and this is, I really wasn't expecting it, but it really paid off to invest in banks when they are out of favor. So I'm kind of thinking now, what about oil? What about gold and silver? Not so much the commodities themselves, but the companies that are dealing in these commodities. You know, maybe there's some really good deals out there, but you know, it's something that I think if you're going to go down that path, you're going to have to wait a little bit to really see the benefits come out of that one. Anyhow, I don't want to get into all the details of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of sharing with you how my morning sort of plays out. So yeah, after I get a feel for where the markets are going, it looks like today they're going up, then I go out for a run, which I just did, and now I'm back, and in about half an hour the markets will open, and I'll start trading. I might not do anything. I might just be watching stuff and timing it to maybe, you know, see if there's a way of making a quick profit. And that's, I swing trade here. And actually, starting Wednesday, I opened up an options account, and I'm going to start trading in derivatives, doing more strategic stuff, because the markets are really getting more volatile, and it's becoming more intense. And so now I want to be able to, you know, rather than just trading on the possibility of a stock going up, I want to be able to have the option of trading in the opposite direction, where I can make money on stocks going down and on the market going down. And I want to also be able to do directionally neutral trades, basically hedging myself by creating option strategies. And so yeah, that would, to me, that's the next level. And I've been, you know, studying it. I do have my Canadian Securities certificate, although I've never worked in the industry. I'm familiar with it. My ex-wife, she's an investment advisor, so indirectly I've been in the industry. I've seen how it works. I know the people in it. But anyhow, now the Dow Jones has just dropped a little bit, but it's still in very good positive territory here. So yeah, that's how my morning's going to start off. I haven't had breakfast yet either, so I probably am going to have steel-cut oats and maybe just a glass of kale smoothie, not a whole jug this time, just one glass. And in my steel-cut oats, I'll throw in a banana and maybe a peach or something like that. So that's it. That's how my morning's going to start off, and hopefully I can make some money today in the market. Anyhow, have a great day and take care.